up, Thumpers? Welcome to another trailer reaction from Hyper Rabbit Power Go. Very excited. It is now, I believe, day 1, 2, 3 of Star Wars Celebration.
Three. Did it start on Thursday?
Yeah, it started on
Then it's
Thursday.
3.
So yeah, now day 3. Emily Rose Jacobson is here. Oh, the Force is strong with her.
Yes.
You can see we've got Star Wars Celebration playing in the background. We did a trailer reaction for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which, good luck. Those comments are very interesting. A lot of semantics about whose lightsaber belongs to who. Whatever. But we are doing a trailer reaction for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, this has been an incredibly anticipated video game, especially after, over the past few years, EA closing down games that were in development, Star Wars games that were in development, and even the studios that were behind those games. So after Battlefront 2, there was really nothing in development. And so, of course, when at the Game Awards, Respawn announced that they were working on a Star Wars game, Respawn being underneath EA, everyone's first thought was, okay, it's going to be a multiplayer online game. But that's not what we got. Because they tweeted yesterday that we were to expect a single-player, story-based game. The best words anyone could ask for.
Yeah, and I've been pretty vocal about my sort of frustration with Battlefront 1 and 2. I love the concept of the game. I think being able to go out there and play as different characters and just go through all these classic Star Wars levels and locations is so fun. I am not necessarily crazy about the fact that when I go into online mode, because I'm not a gamer who games constantly, if you're not up to snuff with those other players, you're in there for 10 seconds, and it just makes it not fun. On top of that, and I know the comments are going to say, well, just be a better gamer. I'm like, all right, I shouldn't have to be a level 10 gamer to enjoy the game. The other thing on top of that is the microtransactions.
Yeah, so that's what... I mean, you look at EA, and that game got so much flack just for that. And that the word microtransactions, you really don't hear it as much anymore. There's games that do have them still, like Apex Legends, once again, Respawn and EA, but they're not called microtransactions. But you look at Apex Legends, I think everyone at first was kind of like, before we heard that announcement about the game, yesterday being single-player story-based, because... You look at Respawn. Respawn has a great track record. Titanfall 1, awesome. Titanfall 2, ooh, we improved it, and we added a storyline. And then EA acquired Respawn, and then Apex Legends released under the table. If you read a bunch of articles about this game release and Respawn with EA, essentially Respawn told EA, we got this. Just trust us, we got this. And Apex Legends is still going really strong, and it's been a really, really awesome game. I've loved playing it myself. I believe I played it even on stream.
I think you did, yeah.
I did, and I won a match for Zach's account. So
you're welcome.
You're welcome. So yeah, I'm so stoked to see this. I love story-based games. I really loved the single-player mode that Respawn introduced in Titanfall 2. I'm excited to see where this game is. I mean, where it's right after Order 66, I believe.
Oh.
Well, this is from speculation.
Okay.
I mean, Jedi Fallen Order timeline. That's what I'm speculating. The timeline. Are we going to see Inquisitors? Are we going to see the Empire? I'm really excited.
Yo.
And then I was listening to a bit of the Twitch stream. I stopped it after they were like, great, we're going to show the trailer. Because I was like, well, I can't listen to the rest of this because it's going to be the trailer and then talking about the trailer. But I did hear them say before they showed the trailer that this is going to be a story-based trailer. It's not gameplay, so we don't have a gameplay footage trailer. But what we do have is that any ability or any kind of move that is shown within this trailer will be capable in gameplay mode.
Nice.
So story-based trailers are always interesting because you're kind of like, because it'll be the gameplay that's the real testament to it all.
You have to sort of interpret like how that's sort of translated just into you as a player, like how you're experiencing it. One of my favorite Star Wars games is Star Wars Jedi Power Battles.
I was gonna say
old school, baby.
I thought you were gonna say Knights of the Old Republic because everyone
of
loves
course.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Sure. But when you're, I think the thing that I loved about that game so much was it was a very basic game, but I loved the control. Like I felt like I was very much in control. Knights of the Old Republic felt to me like it felt very calculated sometimes, the moves that I had to make. Whereas with Jedi Power Battles, it felt like I had really control over a lot more like the fluidity of what it is to like be a Jedi with a lightsaber sort of thing. So I don't think we'll necessarily get a complete comprehensive look at what that is, but
we're gonna get a taste.
I'm just excited. Yeah,
a taste. So let's do this. I'm so excited. I've been avoiding Twitter like you. I've been in your shoes.
I've just not been sleeping, so I've been avoiding
everything.
You've
been working.
Yeah. All right,
let's
here we
do
go.
this.
Wasn't always like this. But now, there are 3 rules to survive. Don't stand out. Accept the past.
He's cute.
Trust no one.
Mom's good. Bring it in.
Oh, snap.
Changed.
Yeah, look out!
Oh, no. Don't use your powers. No. Don't save him.
Whatever you do, don't reach within.
Nice.
Don't stand
Okay, we got wall running. That's a very respawn thing.
That's cool.
Accept the past.
Execute Order 66.
Okay. Cool.
Oh,
sick.
Trust no one.
Dope.
Trust only
Yeah, let's
in the Force.
go. Hell yeah. Damn. Oh, that
Can you give me that
music
release date? Yeah!
cool.
All right, here we go. Boom, boom,
Nice.
boom.
So
All right, so
one
like,
month before the movie comes out.
and yeah, this is the time of year. I wrote about it. So if you guys don't know, I'm a video game contributor for an online news publication, Geek Girl Authority. I'm one of the video game writers. In our April. I do the most anticipated games of the month articles, and in April I start to say like, okay, now we're in quarter 2. March is the end of quarter 1. Now that we're in quarter 2, this is when we start to get a bunch of announcements for all of the releases coming out for the rest of the year. This is all, of course, building up and accumulating to E3 2019,
E3, whatever.
EA at E3 2019, where we're going to get a ton of announcements for the second half of 2019. But this is great. This is one of our first new big anticipated releases for the end of the year, quarter 4 of 2019. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you are a Respawn fan and if you have played Titanfall 2, or even Apex Legends, because Apex Legends plays a lot with the system built on Titanfall and Titanfall 2 and does take place within the world of Titanfall. The wall running, that is an ability from Titanfall. You can
That's cool.
You can wall run. So that is in their game mechanics. That is in their game structure. Like, they have this. It looks like you're going to be able to manipulate the surroundings around you, as we saw from our hero. I don't know his name.
I don't know his name either, but it looks a lot like Cameron Monaghan, the guy who plays the Joker on Gotham.
Oh my gosh, he's gorgeous.
He might be playing the
At
character.
first, I was like, I hope it's not. Is it gonna be a guy or a girl? Is it gonna be very much like you get to choose who you are? I'm excited to play as this cute boy. He's very cute. I'm hooked. But we saw him in that battle. He was manipulating the fan around him. So it's like, great, we're gonna use the Force to manipulate your surroundings. So that seems to be kind of what our abilities are going to be. It seems, I don't know, did we see him really wielding a gun? Not really. We saw him with a lightsaber.
Oh, here we go. The game will star Gotham actor Cameron Monaghan.
You were right.
As protagonist Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis.
Who is a young Padawan on the run from Imperial forces after he survived Order 66. And I think in this part of the Star Wars timeline, this is very common. You look at the characters.
Rebels.
Yeah, from Rebels. I mean, that is like one of the main parts about that story.
Are we going to see Ahsoka in this? I hope so. I hope she's a character we can run into.
I think I don't want to say that it's possible to see characters from Rebels.
Well, I mean, Ashoka's like been across a lot of them.
Yeah,
so I feel like she has a much more higher chance of appearing, possibly in like one side mission or like making a possible like she's watching you appearance.
Sure. And I think that's totally possible. I think more so than Ahsoka, because we've had her in quite a few things now, and not that I don't want to see more of her. I love that character, but I really fell in love with the Inquisitors because of Star Wars Rebels. And the fact that we're going to get an Inquisitor in this game chasing this character.
The second sister.
Yeah, and I believe in Rebels it was the seventh sister, which was voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar. This article doesn't say who is voicing the second sister, but I loved the idea of the Inquisitors. These characters who are skilled and trained by Vader, but they're not necessarily Force users on the level of what this character could potentially be. And I love the idea that this game explores how do the Jedi, or what have the Jedi done to try to stay under the radar, defend themselves, protect themselves.
Yeah, are we going to find more Jedi like ourselves in this game, or is it going to be very much like a terrifying, just kind of survival mode-based game? I love it. It looks like he's essentially working as a construction worker or a demolition worker. I think, too, I really hope they keep playing into that idea of don't reach within. The moment where we see Cal saving someone with his Force abilities. I really hope that throughout the game, this would just be a cool gameplay mechanic if you're presented with choices. If while you're walking through a city, possibly like Coruscant or something, and you see something bad happening, you could intervene, but you could draw attention to yourself. Or you resist and you let something bad happen to someone, but you are ultimately protecting yourself.
Yeah.
But like what we know from, so there's a lot of gameplay mechanics that we see in this trailer. Not, like I said, not a gameplay trailer, but the things that they show Cal doing are very much within the realm of Respawn. So I'm like, yep, this looks like it plays really well. Plus Respawn, all of their games have been sci-fi. So like doing Star Wars is the most perfect thing up their alley. They've done mostly robots. And so what is more perfect than like, oh, here's a bunch of droids. So I think also too, Cal is going to have an assistant droid that will be able to do certain abilities as well, like hack and whatnot. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what his abilities are. If he is going to have like a weapon besides the lightsaber, if he's going to have a pistol, I don't know. We haven't really seen him shoot a gun. So is he going to be much more into handheld items, or is he going to be much more into just like full on like hand-to-hand combat? Or until he gets that, I feel like we're going to build up to him getting the lightsaber, but is he going to even want to use the lightsaber? I'm sure he will, probably against the second sister.
Yeah,
but,
probably.
But in normal battles and normal running around, is this even going to be, is combat going to be a big part unless you're being chased and pursued in combat? Is it going to be much more of like a survival stealth thing where like,
That's a good question, and I think that's a fun thing to explore in this particular part of the Star Wars timeline, where the Jedi really have to remain undercover, and anything that would reveal or give off the idea that this character is a Jedi could set off a whole chain of events that could lead to their death. How do you
the death of their loved ones, anyone who's close to them?
And on top of that, he's a Padawan learner. He's an apprentice. So with that, there comes a little bit of like this youthful arrogance, because they're not as established as like a Jedi Knight. Definitely not as much as a Jedi Master. So that has its own sort of obstacles to overcome as well. And I hope that plays into the game. Like, if I'm going to be a young Jedi Padawan, and he seems fairly young. He seems like he would be around the age of like what Anakin Skywalker was in Episode 2, like 19 or something, maybe a little bit younger. But I like the idea of not only the circumstances affecting you as a character, but also your own personality deeply affecting you as a character.
Yeah.
Of like being in a situation where you want to be sort of like bold and arrogant a little bit, and you maybe want to be a little bit cocky, but you have to completely reserve yourself, and you have to just channel that inner Jedi, that inner force that's telling you to, no, relax, it'll be fine, just...
Which brings me up to the point where I was sitting here with my finger over my mouth with a little excited face. Because of this, what if a plot point is this? You are a Padawan. What if someone is like, hey, I got the black market information on other Jedi. There is a master out there. And what if one of your goals is to go try and find the last master?
I mean, it's possible.
And plus, how is this game going to end?
Yeah.
How is this game going to end?
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a character like Kanan show up in this game. It probably won't happen, but
It'll probably be a lot of these original characters, but perhaps maybe in DLC, or perhaps they will not be minor characters, but perhaps like minor characters, and they show up for like a moment.
Look, I just love the fact that I can play a Star Wars game where I can play as a Jedi character, and it's more than just running around with a lightsaber hacking people down.
Using the Force.
It's using your intellect and using your senses and using common sense and also using the Force, your intuition to really determine what's the best move. They're all going to be risky at some point.
And this is the most dynamic time for the Jedi.
Yeah.
This is the most dangerous time to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited just to explore the environments of this world. Something I love so much when I was a host on Mountain Dew's Game Fuel, and we were working in partnership with Respawn with the release of Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, even though they were all these different like battle settings, all these different like planes, all these different places you could go to where you and your Titans could battle, everything was so detailed. Each world had its own story. So I'm so excited to see that level of detail in the environments of Jedi Fallen Order. That's going to be so good, because now it's we have this super advanced game technology where we can have a Star Wars game. And where Battlefront was much more like, here, you're on Endor, or here, you're on Hoth. Right. This is going to be you're in
stuck
cities.
In a scenario. Yeah.
You can go, hopefully, you can really go. I'm a gamer who loves to explore the ins and outs of my locations and just watch NPCs interact and just listen to the music, be a part of the atmosphere. I love it. And so I'm so excited to be are we going to be in that cantina? In that scene that we saw in this trailer, and what's it like? What is the music there? What are the other aliens and people like here? That's what I'm so excited about.
Yeah, and Star Wars is just a really weird, kooky universe, and that's kind of what I love about it. Aside from being this really high fantasy epic, it's a really kooky, weird universe, and I want to see this character. It'd be really fun for this character to explore, especially if they're on Coruscant. We're so used to seeing Coruscant sort of like the Jedi Temple, the Senate, the really regal part of Coruscant. It would be great to see other things. We got to see little tiny pieces of the lower levels of Coruscant, like the Bar District or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see more of that type of stuff. So, yeah, if this game, and look, I have not read anything about this game. This is literally the first thing I've seen. I knew the game was coming out, and I knew the title, and I saw a photo of Cal that someone tweeted out earlier. That's all I know.
I figured it. I just judging by just using my Star Wars intuition and knowing the title of the game, knowing the taglines they were tweeting about the game.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this has to be after Order 66, or this has to be after Revenge of the Sith.
Exactly, and I think with that.
But other than that, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, and with that, and also the way that we've sort of reestablished the canon with Star Wars Rebels and the Inquisitors, there is so much new mythology that we can bring into this. And I think that's what really excites me. It's playing as a Jedi or Jedi Padawan, but also exploring what that is in the current Star Wars canon. Because like you were saying, Battlefront and Battlefront 2 are great, but you're really just exploring mostly the movie stuff.
Do you remember the original Battlefront 2?
Kind of.
I do.
It's been a while.
My brother and I would play all the time as the all Jedi team. Basically, be all Jedi or all Sith, and just run around like Yoda had the best height jump. That was so good. We'd always fight on Tatooine. I love that one.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing. Look, I like to game. I'm not you're a gamer. I like to game, but I'm not a gamer per se.
I mean, everyone's a gamer.
I really just want to have a Star Wars game that I feel like I can sort of just step into, and 2 hours later I have not realized that time has gone by, and I'm just in it, and I'm having fun doing my thing, and I'm playing as this character. I'm going through obstacles. That's what I love, and I feel like I didn't really get that with Battlefront 1 and 2, so I'm hoping that this sort of redeems it.
Because this is a single-player story-based narrative game.
That's what I want. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That's all we want with our Star Wars games, is just to step in the world and be a character.
Reading a rainbow. But my final thoughts, I'm very excited about this. I can't wait to play it. I'm sure we'll be playing it here on Twitch, and we'll probably be porting all that stuff over to YouTube. But
I'm super stoked because I'm going to E3 2019 this year to cover it. And I hope I get to make an appointment with EA and play this game. I'm going to reach out to them. This looks really exciting. I'm also excited because probably at EA's press conference, we're probably actually going to get a gameplay trailer, so we can stay tuned and wait for that and really see the mechanics of this game and see what we predicted here, if some of that is true.
Hopefully. Otherwise, it's going to be like, oh, well, nothing we got was right. But the game still looks dope.
Woo!
Guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about this first look at this game. Are you going to be playing it? Are you going to get it? Are you super excited? What are your thoughts on Battlefront 1 and 2? I want to know, what's your favorite Star Wars game to date? I don't care how far back you go. I want to know all the games. In the meantime, subscribe, youtube.com/hyperrpg. We'll be back probably tomorrow to do a reaction for The Mandalorian. I'm very excited about that. And we'll catch you next one. Bye. Hey.